Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Pulse, brought to you by the Great America's Pulse Network. I'm your moderator for tonight, Damon G from the Jersey Shore podcast. First, I want to start off with the breaking news. So, according to reports from September 13th, Honduran national who is in the U.S. illegally ran over and killed a 16-year-old girl in Queens, New York. The victim, Joanny Gomez Alvarez, was struck and killed by the SUV on the sidewalk in the early morning hours of Saturday, September 13th. The driver, 38-year-old Edwin Cruz Gomez, is accused of intentionally ramming into the teen and her mother after they rejected his sexual advances. Surveillance video shows the driver steering his vehicle onto the sidewalk, hitting the girl and her mother, then fleeing the scene. He later crashed into a parked car and was apprehended by police. And then he was charged with murder. Another illegal alien committing crimes in a sanctuary city, I should say. Now, I believe it's a sanctuary state as well, just like New Jersey is here. Other breaking news just came up today. 5 officers shot from Northern New York Police Department in PA serving a warrant. 3 of them died. 2 are in critical condition. It's believed that the shooter took his own life. More details to come. I just came up on the news right before the show, so we'll report on that later when we have more news on it. And then the other one is, and I said this before my last show on Monday, that I do not like when people get fired for what they say outside of their work, but when they say it inside their work, then either way, it's up to the person that employs you. If you say something and they think that they're not going to be able to sell their product because of what you said, then it's up to them they can let you go. So I'm going to just play this clip real quick.
We hit some new lows over the week.
Yes, Jimmy Kimmel, he did hit some new lows over the weekend. Jimmy Kimmel's show is he did hit some new lows over the weekend, so his show is canceled indefinitely. Just found out about that today as well. Jimmy Kimmel has said a lot of bad things. His show wasn't getting any ratings either, just like Colbert's wasn't, but that's your breaking news. So from that, I want to go into my monologue. So this is, we're going to talk more about Charlie Kirk and other things too, and just like where we sit as in the United States. So what we witnessed after the assassination of Charlie Kirk was a dark reminder of how broken our public discourse has become. Social media, where people should come together to share ideas, engage in debate, where people engage in debate and maybe even find some common ground, turned instead into a cesspool of hate. Instead of mourning a man's life, too many reveled in his death. This isn't just ugly, it's dangerous. It corrodes our soul as a nation. If we can't find basic human decency, if in the face of tragedy, then we're truly losing our way. But here's the thing about darkness. It can never fully extinguish the light, because while trolls and haters posted their vile words online, something else was happening. A new beginning was born. In the days after Charlie's passing, more than 38,000 new Turning Point USA applications were submitted. Think about that. 38,000 young Americans stepping forward saying, I will carry the torch. I will not let his voice be silent. Around the globe, vigils sprang up. People lit candles. They prayed. They wept. They stood shoulder to shoulder in unity, showing the world that hope and faith still burn brighter than hate. And that brings me to the eternal truth, the duality of good and evil. This isn't just politics. This isn't just culture wars. This is the oldest story in human history, the struggle between light and darkness. Evil does not rest. It works day and night to divide, to destroy, to dehumanize. But good is patient. Good is resilient. Good is eternal. The fight against evil is not a battle we win once and then move on. It's a battle we must fight every day in our communities, in our homes, and in our hearts. Charlie's death is tragic, but it also calls to arms, not with violence, but with faith, truth, courage, and love for our country, for each other. We can't let hate win. We can't allow voices of evil to dominate the conversation. Every one of us has a role in pushing back, in speaking truth, in living out our values, and in showing the world that light will always outshine darkness. So with that, we're going to start our first segment. So our first segment is this is the end. Oh, the end, actually. So I'm going to bring on our guest. So we're going to go with Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. I don't know if Seth is on yet. I know he got stuck at work a little late, so if he doesn't pop up on the screen, you will see him later on in the segment. And then we will go to Elena Barbera, the host of The Base Mother. Hello, Elena. How are you?
Glad to be here.
Soon. All right. Then we will move on to Scott Williams, the best veterinarian out there. And thank you for your service too, as well. And I said Williams. I meant Willens. I always mess your name up, man. I got to stop doing that. I apologize. And now, if we have Peter Sykes on, Peter Sykes, candidate for Assembly, LD6, Camden County, New Jersey. Hello, Pete.
Hey, Damon. How you doing, buddy?
Good. All right. So thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, everybody out there that's listening. I see Arlene saying about time. We weren't late, Arlene. She always complains about everything. I love Arlene. She's awesome. So I've labeled this one the end because, I want to play, I want to play the first clip. And you're going to see, I want the end of this. And I think it's starting to happen. I think people are paying attention to it. So let's roll this first clip. Now, that kid was from Texas University, and obviously you see what he was doing. He was reenacting Charlie Kirk's death, making fun of it, and he was expelled from school. So that's the end of that for him. So that's what happens. So I want to go. I'm going to go to you, Elena, about this one. What do you think about this?
I don't even have words to really describe how disturbing it is that our young people have been so indoctrinated to respond to something horrific like this. He obviously has been one of those people that has been fooled into thinking that Charlie Kirk is a racist. So he thinks he has a good reason to hate him. But it's this incredible desensitization to the value of human life and the devaluing of human life, I should say, that makes a kid able to do that. As a mother, I can imagine, I would hope that his parents are mortified by this behavior. And I think he got exactly what he deserves. What we've seen in schools from kindergarten right up through high school now is they don't punish kids anymore. They just talk to them and they give them a hug and they say, okay, go ahead about your bad behavior. Nobody ever gets suspended or expelled the way it was when we were kids. There are no consequences. So these kids are facing consequences for the first time in their lives at the age of, 18, 19, 20. And well, better late than never.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. I mean, you look at the way the younger generation acts. I mean, we're going to be playing a lot of different clips. And you're going to see how they react to this, and even the older generation too. I mean, you have people more like Hollywood people, more. We talked about Kimmel, and you know what? Let's play the full clip of Kimmel right now.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
So, Pete, he said that, it's political points, MAGA. I mean, this kid was definitely far left. It was definitely a political assassination, cultural assassination as well. But he was far left. And that's the first take that they go with it. They say, if you listen to Kimmel's entire monologue that he did for that show, it was all Trump hate, Trump this, Trump fascist, Trump, and then he goes into that part. So what are your thoughts about Kimmel and him, a show being canceled?
Well, listen, man, they've been doing this for 10 years now, right? We continue to hear it, fascist, bigot, racist. I mean, it's dehumanizing the whole right, half the country. You know what I mean? It's just, it's very, very unfortunate to see that it continues to go that way, but you're seeing exactly what it is. Now, to touch on Elena's point, what she was saying, if there's no accountability, if there's no reward for good behavior and there's no consequences for bad behavior, there's no reason to change. And when you go ahead and you see your political leaders and the media and they just keep, that their echo chamber it's so negative, everything that they say. I mean, it's no wonder that we're seeing this, that they have no remorse for any of this stuff. Well, guess what? When they did cancel culture to the right, they would go back and look for everything that they've said over the past their entire lives. Oh, you said a bad word one time 20 years ago, canceled. That's not what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing is these people that have no remorse and don't value life are coming out and saying things, and we're seeing the consequences of that. And you're seeing people lose their jobs because of that. I do not think that they are the same thing. I do not wish for anybody to lose their job, their livelihood, to make money, but there has to be consequences for this behavior, or we're never going to see a change.
You're right about that, Pete. And Scott, I'm going to go to you next after this next clip. But the thing is, the cancel culture, like Pete mentioned, it used to be if you had a tweet or 15 years ago and you said something stupid and silly, they would go back and then you got attacked by the left and it would cancel you. And that's what it was about. This isn't like a cancel culture. This is you praising, the death of somebody. Like Peter mentioned when we were talking earlier before the show about that doctor that actually said in front of the nurse that he was so glad that Charlie Kirk died and all this stuff. Now, doctors take an oath. What if
do no harm? The Hippocratic Oath, I will do no harm.
Yeah, and the nurse got suspended, and then the doctor resigned. And then, what if Charlie Kirk was brought to that hospital, and that doctor had to operate on him? Would he save them? I think.
Not to be confused with the Hippocratic Oath, which is what the Democrat.
No, we can play the clip, and then Scott, you can go.
Since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the internet has shown its dark side.
I think the only thing that went wrong that day was that Trump wasn't standing behind him getting a secondhand bullet.
But retribution in the form of public firing seems to be coming swiftly. Libs of TikTok has become a steady stream of calling out those who are celebrating the death of the conservative activists, from a DA in Montana to college professors, Democratic candidates, and lots of teachers.
The guy who made a living spewing evil, hate-filled rhetoric died from getting shot right in the voice box. I might be 1% less atheist today.
But it's not just libs of TikTok. Virginia Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears has called for the Dean of Students of Chesterfield County Public Schools to be fired for saying, quote, "Charlie Kirk, you reap what you sow."
Oh, I think Seth came on, so maybe it skipped a little bit, but you get it, Scott. So what are your thoughts?
I've had people try to cancel me for things Israel going on my animal hospital page, my band. In the real world, some of them are being investigated right now. Others have already suffered the consequences of doing that. But here's someone that they think deserved what he got for the things he said, and it was death, and they're just getting fired. For the things that they say, including that he in some way warranted any of this. I mean, and I see it on both sides too. I see people who are mad at Charlie Kirk for meeting with woke right people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, who he doesn't agree with anymore. If you've noticed in the last few years, he's distanced himself from them because largely, I think, and Charlie Kirk's love of Jewish people and of Israel and even of Bibi. But, nobody had a problem with on the left with Bill. Well, some of them had a problem with Bill Maher meeting with Trump. The right certainly didn't have a problem with that. You had Charlie Kirk also meeting with Bill Maher. And, no one's saying Bill Maher should. I'm so thoroughly devastated by the whole thing, and my kids too, particularly my 20-year-old son who's a junior in college, and they're Latino, and my son's Jewish, and I don't understand the folks that lie about Charlie being anti-Semitic, and then the other folks who say that he's in Israel's pocket and Mossad's responsible. All these ridiculous one conspiracy theories. Anyway, back to your question. Jimmy Kimmel down. Who is the other one? Colbert. What is there? One to go. Let's see if Jimmy Fallon's opens his fat mouth. I think he's probably got a little bit more sense than the other two. He's the least of the evils. But if the only consequence for them,
he had Gutfeld on his show, and it was the highest rated show.
I mean, if the only consequence to them is that they're getting shit canned, then in their own world, in their own sick world, they're getting off light. He says it's a dark time and political points. That's exactly what Jimmy Kimmel was doing. That's the darkest shit he's ever said.
Yeah.
And he deserves to be fired. So do the Marine Corps recruiters talking this stuff. The teachers, the doctors, you have freedom of speech, but you don't have. You're allowed to supersede freedom of not just the military that has the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice, certain things. There's many professions that can supersede you relinquish some of your First Amendment rights because of the responsibility you have to patients, to children, to the community at large, and these are completely valid consequences for what they're doing, if not prosecution.
Yeah, you're right
for defamation by the Charlie Kirk family.
Yeah, you're right about that, and that's how there's codes of conduct, like Peter mentioned before. If you're a school teacher, there's all codes of conduct for that too. And then there's if you sign an agreement with the company, let's say you're a news outlet, and then you say something like that, then they have every right to fire you, and they should, because people aren't going to want to watch you. People aren't going to want to buy your product that you're selling. So, Seth, I'm going to play another clip. I figured.
And no one's watching them anyway. Look at their ratings. I mean, they collectively, none of them have anything close to what Gutfeld has.
No, they do not. But so, Seth, I saved this clip for you because I mean, this is a news anchor from ABC that we're about to play in a second. That talks about almost like it's a Romeo and Juliet love story between the shooter and his trans boyfriend, and it was unbelievable. When I saw it last night, I think it aired last night. I was half asleep, but it kind of woke me up. I was like, "What?" I had to rewind the TV. I'm like, "What the heck did this guy just say?" So let's roll this clip.
What was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate, who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner.
So, Seth, I figured this would be a good one for you with his lovingness of his partner and all that stuff. Because in my honest opinion, though, I think his partner was in on it. I think those text messages about the way they worded everything, I think that was on purpose, so he didn't get in trouble for it. So, Seth, what do you got?
Well, water seeks its own level. So you got two crazy shit ass rats in love, and I don't care. I mean, I don't care if he was the world's greatest partner and took care of everything for everybody else. I don't care. His whole life was summed up when he shot Charlie Kirk. That's it. That's all that matters. I don't give a shit what he did before, and I don't care what he does after. He killed another person because he didn't agree with his politics or his religion or what have you. So I don't care. I think, a piece of shit is a piece of shit is a piece of shit. It doesn't change. And that's the left for you. They're trying to downplay everything that's bad and upplay everything that's good, trying to make him look like the victim. And it really wasn't that bad. He was a loving man. He made a mistake. Can't we all just forgive him and let life go on? He look at his partner. His partner's going to be lost without him. He's just a stand-up guy. That's what they're trying to do, like they always do when it's someone on their side. Then it's not such a big deal. We can talk it through. Let's look at it the whole thing objectively. If it's someone on the right, hang him in town square, beat him with baseball bats, stab him and make his family watch, and then kill them too. It's to the point now where I really don't even listen to what they have to say. Because I know it's going to be bullshit. I know it's going to be lies. I know they're going to try to downplay it. So I don't even listen anymore. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And I got enough drama happening in my life. I don't want to invite somebody else's drama into my life and then be like, oh, geez, that's just too much drama.
Yeah. So I hear you there. I figured I'd go to you with the whole love story thing.
Why? Because you don't think I can love? I'm not capable of loving? Is that what you're saying?
No, with that type of love story. No, because
Oh, no.
it was a joke. I mean, I know we can maybe kind of just laugh at that guy
That's
a
the
little
best
bit,
clip.
but but it was sickening what he said. It really was. Like, how are you going to talk about it? Oh, he said it. Oh, my sweet love and all this stuff. Like, no,
Not a beer.
I don't care. He shot Charlie Kirk in the throat. He killed somebody. He could have killed multiple people, and he shot the man in front of his kids and his wife.
Oh, and that's another thing I want to get out real quick. I am sick and goddamn tired. Sick and tired of going online and seeing people say a guy was a professional hit, the government was involved, the guy was a sniper, yada yada. Just shut up already. Shut up. He's not a sniper, wasn't a professional hit, government wasn't involved. It was a lone, insane, crazy ass trans lover who shot another person. That's it. There's no more to the story. Stop trying to make it look bigger than it actually is. Stop making the guy look more important than he actually is. He was a piece of shit that shot somebody. End of story.
I'll tell you this though, Seth. Okay, a couple things. Number one, you go ahead. They first tried to come out and say it was a right-wing guy, but then all of a sudden, they're dropping the trans angle now. Oh, he's a loving boyfriend. Okay, there was definitely more to this story because that there's a lot of these Trantifa trans groups or whatever that were talking about this all over, X and whatever else for like a week or a month before that happened. And Scott, I mean, look, bro, I just heard what you said and you went straight to the woke right. And I just feel like that's the divisive and we shouldn't be doing that. We should be questioning every single thing. And, you call them the woke right. But I mean, listen, all they were doing is questioning, the government of Israel.
I say the woke right.
We should be questioning
the
everything.
woke right
is all I'm saying.
Are people
There's
who
nothing to question.
the right are the right. No, you people who take the red pill. The woke right are people who take the whole fucking bottle and chase it down with 9/11 conspiracy theories and all kinds of anti-Semitic bullshit. I grant them no quarter, and neither does Seth. They're woke right. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. They're one layer deep. They're fucking
Are
idiots.
fantastic. Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are
They're-
fantastic, my friend, and they see a lot of different
No,
things
you're not,
from a
dude.
lot of different stuff.
Dude, have you a lot of different things. They're experts on nothing. They have Dunning-Kruger and confirmation bias on everything. Everything is Mossad and Israel and anti-Semitic crap. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to win in New Jersey, Democrat or Republican, with a fucking attitude like that. We're not going to all be kumbaya on this show, but I'll tell you, these fuckers are dangerous, just as stupid and anti-Semitic as the woke left. And
Scott, do you live in America? Do you live in America, my friend?
I live in America. I serve this country,
Please,
U.S. Army, including volunteering for Iraq. So watch your fucking mouth, shit talker.
I'm not trying to talk any
Watch
shit,
your
buddy.
fucking
I'm
mouth.
just saying, please, if you live in America, be America first. That's all I'm trying to say.
You little fucking shit talker. Listen, Tubby, you're not going to get elected.
All right, come on.
All right, guys.
You know what, Scott? You're not making any points with this.
Yeah.
You're not making any points with all the swearing and the name calling. You're not helping your case.
Scott,
I'm not trying to make points with Tucker Carlson and Candace.
And I will
Owens.
say one thing. I do agree to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens go. I don't.
And someone telling me what country I live in, you're telling me I'm not making points. I have to be nice to someone for 20 years and volunteer for
I'm saying
Iraq.
we're
Have a
never
little
going to
class.
get.
Have a little class.
That what country,
Have a
you know
little
what?
class.
Fuck you guys. too. I'm off. I'm out.
Well,
Bye.
all right. Scott. All right, well, Pete, I mean, I didn't know he was going to get that angry, but the whole
Well,
living
neither did
America,
I, buddy. But that right there just proved the point.
he did serve, you know.
No,
And I thank him for his service.
That's irrelevant.
Yeah, I know,
Service
but I'm just saying, when you
is
said living America,
conversation.
that whole
I
point.
will say what you're saying is pretty anti-Semitic, and if we were face to face, you'd be picking your teeth up off the ground.
Me?
Yeah.
Bro, I don't hate anybody, my friend. I don't hate anybody.
You need to stop. You really need to stop.
All right, let's
I think
there.
he should be able to speak. I mean, I think that's
No, he should.
the
But
whole point
people
of
should also be able to punch him in
the
the mouth.
reason we're here together talking
no, you
and
shouldn't
we're
be.
talking
No,
about
no.
Charlie Kirk is because he what an example he was of being able to disagree peacefully with somebody and try to persuade people with logic and decency, and
I'm not
screaming
Charlie
at him
Kirk.
and yelling at him is actually the exact opposite of what this country needs.
I'm not
And
Charlie Kirk.
I actually find that whole thing, this whole segment, repulsive.
Yeah, me too, actually. So do I. I mean, I don't think anybody on the show, that the whole point of this show is to have a conversation, whether you agree or disagree. I mean, this is the left right here. This is the left, right? That's what they do. All right, and then you guys are all going to punch you in the mouth right now. No, but I mean, Pete, I don't agree with what Pete said. I think Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, I think they went off a little bit. I don't know. I Tucker Carlson, I saw him. He went over and interviewed Putin. He went over and did a whole documentary on Russia, saying, "Oh, look how great it is over here." No, don't agree. All right, but I don't think Tucker Carlson is a horrible person. I agree with a lot of stuff that he says too. So that's the whole point of a dialogue. The whole point of it. All right.
Yeah, but some people you don't have dialogue with. Anti-Semites, you don't have dialogue with. That's like saying,
Well, I can tell you right now,
Hitler was pretty cool on some
Pete
things.
is not
Other things he
anti-Semitic.
wasn't good on. Nah.
Pete is not anti-Semitic whatsoever. Trust me.
I love everybody, my friend. I don't hold hate in my heart.
I also watch Tucker Carlson, and I watch his stuff about big pharma and big medicine and history, and he doesn't always talk about Jewish people, and I actually don't see all that because I don't watch everything he puts out. I don't watch Candace Owens at all, so I don't have an opinion there. I know what everybody else says, but I don't have my own. But I mean, you're gonna hate me because I watch Tucker when he talks about the tricks of big pharma and how they're destroying health in America. I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, I don't hate you.
I'm not gonna be told that I'm a bad person for.
I don't think you're a bad person. I'm just not going to sit back and let someone disparage somebody who gave 20 years of his life to this country.
I thank him for his service, my friend. I didn't disparage anybody.
And talk about anti-Semitic people who are they're good people. We need to listen to them. This is America. No, dude.
No, I think that word gets thrown around just the same as racist, all right? And I'm tired of all these damn words, Seth.
All right, guys.
I'm tired of all these words.
Stand to watch in a country where people want to kill you. When you stand that watch, when you ball up and band up and do it, then you can criticize somebody else who's done that. Until then, a simple
Seth,
thank
I'm
you,
not
sir,
criticizing
and
him.
then
I'm
move
just
on.
wondering, right before
done.
Charlie Kirk died, he said that we
done.
cannot criticize the Israeli government. That's all I'm trying to say, my friend.
And
That's all I'm saying.
Hey, Pete, that's why, Elena, what you said earlier on X. So the guy with the app he was going to make, it's like everything. Here's the thing. All right. I'm going to say right now, nobody's perfect. Has the United States done bad things? Has Israel done bad things? Has every other country done something bad? But when it comes down to it, in the end, who is evil? Who is evil? Think about it. Hamas is evil. Okay. And when you go back and look at it, you see all the they're going on X. X is a cesspool of information, and they have bots all over the place. And who's putting shit out there? Hamas is. They're the biggest propagandists out there. So every single time something happens, it's blame the Jews. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, blame them for the pandemic. Blame them for this. Blame them for that. Blame them for the stock market. It was the same thing in the app. Listen, I'm sure they're to blame for some shit. Just like everybody else is. But
I don't trust any government, my friend.
Well, then don't. Well, you're running for government.
And that's why. That is exactly why. Because I don't trust it. That's why I'm running. You know, and this right here, we're all on this side that want to make the world a better place, that want to make America a better place. And you just saw, we can't even have an open conversation without attacking people with words, just like the left.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. So let's move on with the show. All right. So I got one more clip to play, and this is what happened in New Jersey in Pittman when Jack Ciattarelli came for a town hall. So I went there because I knew there was going to be protesters. The county chair, Adam Wingate, asked me to show up. I was going to go anyway, but they asked me to show up and just be out on the sidewalk with the protesters. So that's what I did. So let's roll this clip.
This is Damon G from Jersey Shore Podcast, America's Pulse Network. These are the crazy left right now. They have Nazi signs out here, KKK signs, and they're the party of the KKK. They're the party of hate. We're the party of peace. And they have to show up here because Jack Ciattarelli is having a town hall meeting. But yet, they want to come here and scream at everybody that's coming in. This is the Democrat Party. This is them. A bunch of crazies, a bunch of old people. There's not one child here, not one kid. But you know what? On this side, we have a young kid right here, young Republican, Patrick Parler, Make America Great Again. So look at all the old people over here. They're a dying breed. They're a dying breed. Dying breed. And I'll show you what my children made this sign right here. We are Charlie.
So with that, you heard a lot of yelling and no talking. So case in point. All right. So just so we all remember that. So with that, I want to just go around the room real quick. Everybody, Elena, I'll go with you. Just 1 minute each. Let's just talk about what do you think about that with those signs and the yelling and the screaming? All they wanted to do was disrupt. They didn't want to talk to anybody or have a conversation.
With all these older people that are out there going to the No Kings protests, that chanting ridiculousness that we just saw, I actually had this thought that a lot of these people were the hippies. They were the lefties, the hippies. And I am wondering if we're seeing long-term effects of what acid and marijuana do to your brain. It sounds like a joke, but I'm not really joking. Because they've lost, they're completely out to lunch. They are out of touch with reality. Remember in the 80s, we used to talk about people having acid flashbacks and joke about it. I can't help but to wonder if they've actually given themselves brain damage, because that's the only explanation for people who used to be civically minded and well informed to now become the people that they are, who just hate when a meme tells them to hate.
Oh, right. And Seth, some of those people did live there, but I know for a fact I saw those people at the Tesla protest. They were bussed in. I recognize some of them. So they're bussed in paid as well. So, what do you think about that? Because I know Mikey Sherrill just got she's running for governor against Jack Ciattarelli, and the DNC just pumped another $1.5 million into her campaign.
At least they have a job. At least they're not living off my tit. I'm not feeding them. At least they got an income. So, that's one thing, I guess. I just don't understand people that would go to a protest about something that they don't like and makes them miserable, and then be miserable while they're there. Why even go? What is the purpose of just so you get more angry and more upset? Stay home. You're not going to change anybody's mind on the other side, just like the other side's not going to change your mind. So why waste your goddamn time standing out in the middle of the street, making up rhymes, trying to sound like a badass, when at the end of the day, you've accomplished absolutely nothing. You've made yourself look like an idiot. Yeah, you've made a few bucks. That's great. But overall, you've just become an idiot. and nothing has changed. And you're more upset than you were when you first got there because you've been there all day dealing with people that you don't like. Why? That's never made sense. I'm going to go protest. Why? What is going to change other than your blood pressure is going to skyrocket? And you might get locked up. You might get your ass beat. Why are you doing this? Nobody gives a shit what you have to say. If they did, they'd go, hey, hold on, everybody, be quiet. Mike's got something to say across the street, and it sounds pretty profound. He thinks we're all idiots, and Trump's a moron. You know what? Mike's right. Everybody pack up your shit. Let's go home. Trump is no longer important because Mike's. It doesn't work like that. It serves no. All it does is make you feel. Well, it doesn't make you feel better. Obviously, you get pissier. That's why I think if you're somewhere and the left is protesting, don't even acknowledge them. Don't even go outside to look at them. Don't take their picture. Go about doing what you were doing. Let them talk to the wall. Let them talk to the street. Let them yell at each other. Why pay them any attention? That's what they're attention whores. That's what they want. They want to disrupt. And the second you go out there and listen to them, they've accomplished what they want them to do. If everybody that thing for that guy just went inside and nobody was outside, I guarantee you that protest would have lasted 10 minutes. They'd have got bored and left because there's no one to yell at. No one's listening to them. Nobody's out there to watch them. There wasn't even news people out there. They'd have got bored and left. I guarantee it. 10, 15 minutes. They'd be like, hey, I got to go take my Geritol. I got to go drink my Ovaltine. I think Murder, She Wrote's on. I'm going home. It would have ended. That's why let them scream and yell like children. It's like when your child yells, you don't acknowledge every time they yell. You walk away. They get tired, lay on the ground, put their thumb in their mouth, and they take a nappy. That's what these old people are going to do. What the left will do. We need to stop feeding into their bullshit.
Yeah, but everyone was already inside at that point. You know, and I was just out there and wanted to film it. There was only
one person's enough to keep them going. It just takes one person to acknowledge their presence, and they feed off of that.
Oh yeah, I left after that, but they stayed. They don't care. They were trying to yell loud enough to where they could be heard inside the building.
Well, and everybody knows they can't, and they know you can't hear them, but they're too stupid to realize it. So they just keep going. Let them peter themselves out. Yeah. If I were there, I'd hand down blankets. Here you go. Because I know your old ass is going to get tired in about 15 minutes from yelling. Just lay down on the sidewalk, take a nap, old man. We'll be cool. We're going to be inside. You act like an asshole out here for the hour. Whatever. Nobody cares. We got to start feeding into their bullshit.
And then Pete, to Elena's point with the hippies and the acid and all that stuff, we got like 2 minutes left in the segment. But I know they're all crazy. I mean, you can see that from the video. But how many people we're like the most over medicated country with SSRIs ever had? I would go and I would take a bet saying that 90% of them are on some kind of psych meds because they're all like cat ladies and weirdos. Oh, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, brother, you saw, like you said, they're all old folks. They must have raided the nihilist retirement home village for that, you know. But I'll tell you, look. So it's a couple things. Number one, like you said, yes, half of our population are more or more are on SSRIs, psych meds. They're all on some type of medication, right? Because they all trust their doctors. The doctor says you need the meds. They go get the meds, and they really make you not care. All right. The other half of this is who is still watching mainstream media on TV? Every single one of those people in that crowd right there. We know that mainstream media is a brainwashing organization. All they do is spread hate and lies and garbage. And those are the people that continue to watch. All right. So why are all those people out there protesting? Because that's what they do. They take their meds. They sit there. They turn on ABC, CNN, whatever it is. You know, they continue to get their daily dose of hate poured into their brain, and they have to have an outlet for it. And that's where it was. You know, not to mention that nobody can afford anything because the bills are so high. So they need that extra $250 worth of income.
Yeah. And before we go on the break, I want to say at the Tesla protest, I went there. I met our producer. He was there. I went and parked. The buses came in, and I happened to like walk up the street with them and mingled with them. And they had people in the safety vests, and they were handing out the vouchers and handing out the what to say. Say Trump is a fascist, Elon Musk is a fascist, and it was all labeled. And then it had a voucher for your $250 paycheck, and said, "Don't forget to come to." Cooper River Indivisible to pick up your $250. So when the guy after he handed it to me, he realized I really wasn't with. He said, "Wait, who are you with?" I said, "I'm by myself." He said, "Oh, no. You got to give that back to me again." I said, "You got a better chance of seeing God than me giving this back to you." I said, "No way." So, but yeah, so that's how I know to get paid and busted, and I recognize someone from that.
250.
Have you
250.
posted any of this? I would love to see this paperwork.
Yeah, I posted them and on the podcast. We actually got to interview some people there before they realized that we were there, to, like, well, maybe more on the right, So I just asked people what they were doing there. I remember one girl went up to her and she was screaming like a banshee. She was crazy, and I asked her for an interview. She said, "Yeah, sure, I'll take an interview. It's great." So I said, "Why are you here?" She said, "Trump is a fascist. Elon Musk is a fascist." And I said, "Okay, well, for my listeners out there, can you just, tell me what the definition of fascism is so they know what it is?" And she's like, "No, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing." So, and that's what it was. She didn't know the answer. She was just told to say, and she was being paid to be there. And then the people came that were running, the whole thing, followed me and Damon G around, and told every single person, "Do not talk to us. Do not talk to us. Do not talk to us." We got a couple interviews out of it, but then we aired them. So, but the old people were probably paid to be there. Oh, that's very rare. So, yeah, they were. So, all right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll go to the next segment.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
All right, everybody, welcome back to segment 2, A New Beginning. I know we spent a lot of time on the first segment, but there was a lot of clips in there. So the next couple segments will be shorter. So I want to start off, I call it A New Beginning because I want to play a clip from Marco Rubio, like what he actually said that he was going to do for people that actually hate this country or cheer for the death of one of our citizens. So let's roll this first clip.
I mean, we don't want you in the country. Why would we want to give a visa to someone who thinks it's good that someone was murdered in the public square? It's just common sense to me.
Have you actually revoked any visas yet? Have you taken that action? And
well, we revoked visas of people. I don't know. We've revoked visas for people that are inside the country. We're most certainly been denying visas. I mean, think about it. I want everybody to think about this for a moment. Okay, you're out there celebrating the assassination in cold blood of someone. And then you want to come in. Why would we want anybody like that in our country as a tourist, as anything? We don't want them here.
So there you go, a new beginning. We don't want them here, so that's good. I mean, Marco Rubio, I want to let people in that hate this country, that celebrate the assassination of one of our citizens or a political figure, because so that's great. Seth, I'll go to you. Thank you.
Well, if they're not citizens, then yeah, don't let them in. I mean, I don't agree with them censoring. I mean, if you think Charlie Kirk getting murdered was great, you're an idiot, but you can say that. And there's nothing we can't have it both ways. We can't say they can't say this, but we can say that. Or they can celebrate this, but we can't. Freedom of speech is not there for the speech you like. It's there for the speech you don't like.
And nobody's really saying that except for Attorney General.
I mean, people like celebrate, get them fired. Why? That is not freedom of speech. You're not embracing the First Amendment.
I can tell you why. Because of ethics and morality.
That's not part of the First Amendment. It's freedom of speech. It doesn't say freedom of speech unless it's unethical. It says freedom.
They have the freedom of speech to say whatever they want.
It is not a free speech violation. They can still say whatever they want, but there is no way that an entire hospital should have to fall under the bad reputation and not be trusted by their patients because doctors and nurses are saying that MAGA people deserve to be killed. That is absolutely terrible.
Not saying private industry can't do that. I'm saying the government needs to stay out of that.
Well,
the government's not in any way, shape, or form because it starts that. And then the next thing you know, it's something else. And then it's something else. As long as it's private industry, that's fine.
You know,
Yeah, if you're an American citizen,
American citizen, that's the thing.
if you're an American citizen, you can say whatever it is that you want, but anything that you say can have consequences. All right. If you are not an American citizen and you want to come here, but you hate America, we don't want you here.
Yeah. Why should a foreign national have the right to come here?
I just said that.
Well,
I just don't agree. Because the government isn't.
We can't. The government should not compel speech.
Anyway, no, you're right, Seth. And Pam Bondi, what she said the other day, when she was asked a question, is, you know, are you going to go after people for hate speech? She said, absolutely. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no.
Yeah, there's no. What is hate?
Just say that. Like,
what is hate speech? There's no such thing as hate speech.
I know. Well, I mean, there's speech that is saying that you hate somebody for where you look or whatever it is, but it's
like saying
the First Amendment.
Reverse discrimination. There's no such thing as reverse discrimination. There's no such thing. It's discrimination. Well, there's no reverse. There's no forward. It's just discrimination. Hate speech is no such thing. There's just speech. Either you agree with it or you don't. But there's no such thing as hate speech.
Well, I would just say the hate speech is speaking, saying I hate somebody just because of whatever. You know,
I mean, when
you go after somebody for that.
There may be hateful speech, but that's not a legal term. Yeah. And because you cannot quantify that, you know, that's why the First Amendment has very specific limits, you know, like even you could say something is libel or slander, but even to take that to court, you have to prove damages to your reputation, your business. Like you can't just sue somebody because they called you a bad name. No. I mean, what's in place works, and the Democrats came along with this hate speech gobbledygook legal garbage in order to be able to shut people down so that people didn't speak their minds because they'd be afraid of getting, as you know, Seth is talking about, prosecuted by the government for an opinion because they said it was hateful. We can't have that, and using the term hate speech at all is something we all should just, I beg of you all, just get it out of your vocabulary unless you're using it to speak against it.
It's like the word irregardless. No such word. Don't say that. Stop saying that word.
I hate that.
Irregardless of how you feel about what Seth just said.
But everyone needs to remember the Constitution isn't there for us. It doesn't restrict us. It's there to restrict the government. It's the rules they have to play by, not us. So if it's private industry firing people for something they say, that's fine. That's not the government. But if the government starts to say, no, you can't say that, we're going to come after you, then I have a problem.
That's what pissed me off about.
But have we heard that happening yet?
When Pam Bondi said it.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought up hate speech. She was asked a question, will you go after people that are saying hate speech? She was absolutely. I'm like, no, she didn't just say that. I'm like, are you kidding me? She walked it back after it a little bit. But it was like,
regardless of what I said.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And a lot of people, like I saw Laura Loomer defend her, Harmeet Dillon defend Pam Bondi. And I'm like, the Attorney General of the United States should be more careful with her words. She should be way, way, way smarter than she sounded like she just graduated from law school. And got into an interview and said, we should prosecute hate speech. Like just kick her out. I'm sorry. Pam Bondi needs to go. It's like having a Fisher-Price Attorney General plaything. She's not real. She doesn't know what she's doing. I'm sure she's a really nice lady and I might be friends with her in real life, but I don't want her in the cabinet anymore.
It's fabulous hair.
So, all right, well, I'm going to play this clip. I like this clip only because I can't stand Adam Schiff. It kind of fits the narrative a little bit, but not. But I hate Adam Schiff, and I saw it, and I just wanted to play it. And we'll go to you, Pete, after this.
Irregardless, let's watch it.
Irregardless.
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
I love it.
Hooked.
I love it. Yeah, I love that. So he just went right back out. And then he went on about the whole Russiagate thing too, and told me how he lied about that. I mean, but the clip is too long to play. But
and he was hitting everybody out there too, right? He hit Cory Booker. He was going hard on everybody in that hearing. And I love to see it. You know, I'm so tired of seeing these people and their one-sided nonsense. To see somebody else get up there and just cook them, oh, it was beautiful.
What time is it?
What 8:50?
Well, they're probably still all out drinking beers together and laughing at us for thinking he really meant anything he said. That's a show.
Oh, no, of course.
Show.
Of course.
I don't think so. I don't think those two are drinking beers together.
Well, they're definitely not serious about what they said about each other, or shit would have happened. Things would have been changed. They've been yelling at each other like this for decades, and the same people are in the same seats doing the same thing, saying the same stuff at the same hearings. We're going to have your job. You're out of here. You're done, mister.
Well, you're not wrong about
10
that.
years down the road, same guy. We're going to have your job. You're done, mister. And the American, in general, the American citizens buy into it. Like, oh, yeah, he's really giving him the business. Yeah, America. There's nothing
There's nothing they could do. There's nothing that's going to happen or come from it. But I've never seen.
He would have to get voted out, yeah.
Go after, somebody like that. Usually they just attack the witness and they got to just go over and over again. I watch. Unfortunately, it's sad. I watch like every congressional hearing. And I know it is sad, but
I agree. This was an exceptional moment.
Yeah, I was just happy that I was like, yeah, rip them apart. It was a Jerry Springer moment in Congress.
I lost all respect for congressional hearings when they actually spent my tax dollars to find out what baseball players were on steroids. I was done. I was like, are you seriously wasting taxpayer money on a game kids play in a playground to find out who's doping up or not? This is what you think our tax dollars should be spent on. And it wasn't one, it was like 3 months worth of bullshit. And I was like, you know what? This is all charade. This is all a game. Because nothing ever came of that either. I mean, you had Barry Bonds with a 500-pound head. His arms are bigger than a tree. We know he's on steroids, and Congress did nothing about it. Nothing. So after that point, I was like, you know what? This is all bullshit. It's all a game. They're appealing to the lowest common denominator in this country, the ones who vote the most, the dummies, and they know they've got them hooked now. This is all bullshit. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, Seth, I'll tell you, I'd like to see something change, brother, because you're right. That is the normal operating procedure, right? That's exactly what that is. I would like to see something come of it. But once again, I mean, he's in there. What are they going to do? They got to vote him out.
Nothing. And he won't get voted out. Dude's been reelected how many times?
Too many.
He's never going to go anywhere because that lowest common denominator are the biggest voting bloc in this country. The Twinkie eating, moonshine drinking out of a mason jar, haven't graduated third grade are the biggest voting bloc in the world. That is the biggest voting bloc. And you got the racists on the left side. That's the biggest voting bloc. And this man is an idiot. And he's idiot like he's smart like a fox. He knows if he can get to that lowest common denominator, he'll never lose his job. And there's a lot of them on the left. And he's connected with all of them. He will never lose a job. He'll retire like Byrd did. Was it Senator Byrd was 410 years old when he retired? Something like that. That's what will happen with this guy. They'll have to wheel him out because he'll never lose.
Well, that's why one thing, even though I like the exchange there, I like when he went back at him, I don't think they should air the congressional hearings like that anymore because it's one thing Cash Patel said, and later on in that clip, he said, go after this, go to your news cameras, get your donors to fund you and all this stuff because it's a show. I mean, that's why they're doing it. You're right about that. So they shouldn't even air it anymore. But I like the fact that he said it because he pointed it out, and that's what made me think about it. I'm like, they shouldn't air it anymore because it's a Jerry Springer show for them to get people to vote for him and donors to vote,
most voters aren't watching the congressional hearings, and I think that not airing them would be egregious. I think they absolutely ought to be airing things. I mean, I know it's a different situation, but like Donald Trump's trial, how they didn't air it. It was the most important trial that we've seen in ages. Yeah. And the fact that they kept us all out of that room was election interference because they knew it was all BS the whole trial, and they knew it would affect things. If they thought it would help them, they would have aired it. So I think the more transparency, the better. So
I think you should put him in a WWE in a ring and put him in costumes, because that would fit. Like, hey, brother, you're not coming into my ring and doing this to me. I'm gonna slam you. No, you're not, brother. That would make it more entertaining, at least. At least their speech would fit the costume.
Yeah, we have crazy eyes Cory Booker out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like a steel chair, something. Just make it interesting.
But you're right, though. I mean, look, they are appealing to their side with that, right? That's what they're trying to do. Oh, look, we went out there and we were yelling at Cash Patel. We were trying to grill him, and we were trying to, and it is just, trying to appeal to their base, which is unfortunate. But look, I'm with Elena, though. I mean, transparency, that's the most important thing. The people want transparency. They want to know what's going on, and especially right now. I mean, everything is so. I mean, just it doesn't matter which bubble you're in, right? We want to see what's really going on so that we can make up our own minds.
But are you really seeing what's going on, or are they just showing you what they want you to see?
Well, that's fair. That's why we gotta get in there.
But how do you know what you're seeing is real? You can't play a game when you don't know the rules, and they're not telling us the rules to this game. So we don't know what's going on. They let us see what they want us to see. Everything they show us is manipulated. And I'm talking about both sides. One side is no better than the other. Two sides of the same coin. That's what we got.
And that's what we've had for a very long time.
I don't believe anything they say unless I see it myself. I don't believe it when they show it to me. I don't trust them. This is all a game for them to stay in power. They don't want to lose it like that with the schmuck Schiff. Wouldn't know what to do if he lost his job because he'd have to get a real one. So he's going to do and say whatever he has to stay in his job. Everybody's going to help him because they're in the same boat. They don't want a real job. They don't want to work. So they're going to help him because he'll help them. And on the other side, the Republicans are like, yeah, if they help us, we can help them. And we're all going to keep our jobs. We just got to make a show of it. So we'll argue once in a while on TV. We'll scream and yell, but we're really not going to do anything. We're going to make it sound like we're going to change. It's like a shell game.
Well, that my friend is why I think it's important that we start getting normal people in that want to make change. That is the most important thing, which is why I'm running right now. I hear what you're saying, and I get you, and that's the way it's been. We got to change the game on them, brother, because we're losing our country if we don't.
We got Trumpet. He's a regular guy, and he can't change it because they won't let him. They won't let regular people in the game. They're not going to let you in the game. They'll let you watch it. You can get close to it. They're not going to let you in. It's not going to happen.
Well, if we can get enough people in there, man, then we can change the rules, brother.
They won't let it happen. That's why I'm telling you, the people in this country are going to be pissed off. There has to be change. And it's not going to happen by appealing to somebody in D.C. or in your state capital. It's not going to change it. That's not going to do it. They're there to create problems so they can come out election time and tell you, I got a solution for this problem. You got to vote for me because I can fix this problem. People buy it, vote them back in, and then miraculously the problem goes away. And then election time comes again. That problem's back. And I'm the only guy that can fix it. You got to elect me again. People got to stop buying that shit. The only way to deal with a broken system is non-participation. It's been proven throughout history. If it doesn't work and it's broken, stop trying to fix it. Back off. Let it die. No time in history has that worked.
I disagree with that one. I say that's why we do this.
The entire English colony, the English Empire by non-participation. You got enough people not to participate, and the country fell apart and they had to leave. It's happened before that. Non-participate. If you have a DVD player that's not working, you don't keep buying DVDs to put in there and say, oh, this DVD will make it work now. Oh, it'll play now. Oh, this will make it play. You stop buying it, you throw it away, and you get a new one.
Or you take it to Best Buy and have them fix it. And plus, they don't make DVDs.
Exactly. It's got to be fixed before it'll work.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, buddy, but you just said we can't do it. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
It's the podcasts like this. Saying what you're saying right now and having people hearing this is the whole point of it, is that it's broken and you can't trust them. They keep voting the same people in over and over again. They're going to create problems right before an election and say, this is how I'm going to fix it. I've seen it many times. Just in Biden with the student loan forgiveness right before the election. Oh, I'm going to forgive all these student loans. That's what they do. But the more you talk about it, the more things that you said and people, the listeners out there are listening. And by the way, I forgot to say, make sure you guys, everyone listening, like and subscribe to the America's Pulse Network, by the way. But all the listeners out there are hearing this. So the more people are listening to exactly what you're saying, and more people that aren't career politicians get in and work towards that change, that's how you fix it. That's my thoughts.
I'm right there with you.
Because hearing you yell, I mean, I'm sure people were like, that dude won't shut up. He's right. He's screaming at me loud. I better go do something. I'm not voting for this guy anymore. This Adam Schiff guy, fuck him. I'm not voting for him.
I wish it were that easy.
Well, if enough people hear your voice and hear our voices, then
I mean, think of it this way: when you go to vote and you look at the presidential ballot, there are like 25 names you've never heard of. There are parties that no one knows exists, and why is that? Because they won't give them a seat at the table. They refuse to do that. You see Republican, Democrat, maybe Independent, and maybe one more party, but the other 15 you've never heard of. You don't even know who the people are. And that's not by mistake. That's by design. That is on purpose. It's not an accident. They do that to keep the people dumb. I don't agree with any of the parties that aren't listed, but the point is, why are they not given as much airtime as Republican and Democrats? Why are they not given as much time to go to debates? Because they don't want them to give them a seat at the table. They don't want them part of the game. Because that'll put the game off. People need to back off and stop voting for fucking politicians. Stop. If you haven't learned in the last 100 years, nothing's gotten better, it's gotten worse, then just stop voting altogether, because obviously you don't know what's going on. We got a non-politician as president now. Once things start getting better, what happens? Shit happens. Everything goes to pot. He can't do anything else. If that's not enough proof, I don't know what else you need.
Yeah, well, one thing that Arlene did say to me, guys, too, and Pete, think about this: get civics classes back in the school. So people know about their government, they know the Constitution, and they realize what it is. So, guys, we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to go into the next segment.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
All right, everybody, welcome back. All right, so guys, we're running a little bit low on time. We got 2 segments to get through, but they're not going to be that long. So I'm going to first, before we get started, I'm going to pull up this pic. This one's actually for me anyway. So it was at the same protest that I was at, and the sign my kids made. So that was a Courier Post there with Patrick, young Republican. My kids made that sign, and so I went out there and I held it, and the Courier Post was there, and they snapped a picture of it and posted it today. And just looking at that sign, that my kids decide to make, I think I'm raising them right. It's all about parenting, and that's what it is. I mean, it's how you raise your children, because they were very upset about Charlie Kirk. They didn't know as much about him, obviously, as we do, but they have seen him on TV. They've seen me watch clips of him debating at school. And my daughter got my son and said, "Hey, let's make this sign." So, because they saw all the vigils and stuff like that around the world, and people were saying, "We are Charlie." So, I mean, it's just, it kind of makes me proud that my kids want to do that. So I brought it out there and got it on the Courier Post, and they were all excited about it. So that's how we raised them right. And then I'm going to go into this next clip. Let's play this one real quick, and we'll see the opposite of that.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce
Not
got
just
engaged!
universities.
Now, for those kids to have those first three answers on have the best news, that woman has to be talking about it constantly with her children over and over and over again, how she wants to see Donald Trump die, JD Vance die, Elon Musk die. That's the first three things that they go to. Not, hey, are we going to this? What, best news? What? We going to Disney World? We going on vacation? Is it Christmas tomorrow? No, that's the first three things that they go to. Now, I want to find out exactly who that is. I'm curious. Anyway, for sake of time, Elena, we'll go to you first, the base mother.
So you remember Democrats used to always talk about things like hatred is taught, racism is taught. And it was always those old white country boys that were teaching the hatred and teaching the racism. And then you see where we are today, how Democrats pour hatred into their children. They teach their children to hate themselves, hate your own body. If you're white, hate yourself because you are oppressing other people just by your very existence. If you're black, hate yourself because you're being oppressed and no one's ever going to let you get anywhere. Hate people that mommy and daddy tell you to hate because they have also been brainwashed into hating Donald Trump, JD Vance, Elon Musk. For a child to even have those names on like so top of mind is disturbing. No child should be that invested in American politics. Their lives are lovely. They live in the best country on the planet. All of us, even the worst of us in America, have almost everybody besides the homeless, drug addicts, and even they have the opportunity at shelter, indoor plumbing, electricity, climate-controlled rooms, healthy food, decent food that's clean and not full of maggots. You didn't have to dig it out of a dumpster because even the homeless, like I said, have shelters that they choose not to go to. Everyone in this country lives better than most other countries. And people pouring this kind of hatred and negativity into their children do not deserve to keep their children. These children should be brought up to be innocent and taught love and just taught the wonders of the world. But this is what this person decided to pour in, poison.
Yeah, it actually completely disgusted me when I saw it. It really did. So I'll go to you next, Pete. I hope and I think that I'm doing a good job with my kids. I do the best I can. Never teach them anything like that. Even when I ran for office, the worst thing they said was my opponent stinks. And they wanted me to win because they were kids. They're stinky. We want you to win. Okay, they're kids. It's fine, but not died. That woman has to be pouring this stuff in their head. I know you do a pretty good job with your kids. I never heard your kids say anything like that. So what are your thoughts?
No, man, listen, it's very shameful to see that those poor children, come out and say that stuff. And I wonder if it wasn't set up from the beginning where the mother said, okay, we're going to do a video. Now I'm going to ask this. This is what I want you to say. Then I want you to say this. Then I want you to say that. Because, if that's not the case, either way, it's too much hate going on. And unfortunately, I have to teach my children that this stuff is out there. At 9 and 7 years old, I have to try to explain to them and say, look, watch out for these signs. Be careful. There's people out there that want to do you harm. But we don't teach hate in this household over here, man. And I really wish that people would get away from that too. But once again, these people, they abort their children, they sacrifice their children, they allow, their children to mutilate themselves. You're giving ADHD medication to children at such a young age. There's, I always say children used to be our most precious commodity, and I really hope that we get back to being that again.
Yeah. So, and Seth, that sign that my kids made, I wrote that on the top. I said my 7 and 11-year-old kid made this sign. Okay. And I said the left is being bred out. And that's why I wrote it, because they, like Pete just said, they abort babies. They don't believe in having kids. And if they get pregnant, they want to kill them. They praise it. I've seen so many videos of people say, I can't wait to get pregnant for the first time so I can have an abortion. And that's the crazy left. But I see you all the time. When you go off on a tangent and you curse, you're like, I hope my son's not watching. I don't think he is right now. But he's not watching. then you go off. But when you think he's watching, you're like, he might be watching. I gotta tone it down. So I mean, that's a good thing, a good fatherly thing to do. Like because my kids aren't watching this right now. They barely watch. They listen to my radio show. It's about it. So.
Well, my son's bigger than me, so I gotta watch out. He's 15, 6'3", and 240. He's a big boy. So I don't call him son, I call him sir. I've raised 2 kids. My daughter was in the Navy, got an honorable discharge. My son wants to go in the Navy, wants to be a CB. My father was a cop. My brother was in the Air Force. Everybody in my family's been about service. So I think my parents did a good job with me. I think I did a good job with mine, and I hope they do a good job with theirs. I have no animosity towards those children at all. None at all. My hatred is in their twat waffle mother. That's where my ire is. She's teaching those kids, even if it was just a skit. There's some things that are funny, and then there's some things that aren't funny. Funny is like, ooh, the dog just pooped in the bed. Something that okay, I could giggle at that. I hope this person dies is not funny. That is, and to teach your children that that's funny is doing them a disservice, because as parents, your kids look to you as the bar. This is where I need to be because that's where mom is at, or that's where dad is at. And if mom thinks the president dying is funny, it must be okay, because my mom wouldn't lie to me. She wouldn't mislead me, or my dad wouldn't lie to me. So they go forward thinking that's how you're supposed to act, because that's what mom and dad do. And as they get older and get into the real world, they're going to find out that that's not how shit works. And you're going to find yourself by yourself and be very miserable. So I'm not mad at the kids, and I hope somebody somewhere corrects them and goes, no, that's not funny. Don't worry about, let your mom do that. That's not you. And someone needs to pull mom aside and read her the riot act. That's ridiculous. I don't know how, as a parent, I can't imagine telling my kids, look, we're going to talk about the president dying, and it's funny. So I'm going to ask you a question. You say the president's dead. Everybody will think it's funny. I don't know how a parent can do that. I mean, you have to have a license to drive. You have to have a license to fish. You have to have a license to get a license. You have to have a license to own a business. But I can make as many kids as I want, and there's no license required for that. The most important thing in the world, I can do willy-nilly, and there's no oversight. That's ridiculous. And this is what you get. You get parents like this that poison their children, send them out into the world, and then they end up shooting people or shooting up schools because they have no idea what they're doing. Any fool with a dick can make a baby. It takes somebody special to be a parent, and there's not enough special people out there being parents now. They want to be friends. They want to be their buddies. They want to hang out. They don't want to be parents, and that's a prime example. She is setting those kids up for failure. I hope somebody comes in and takes them away from her.
Well, you're right about that, but when you say no oversight, I mean, I believe that I don't co-parent with the government, but yeah, I get you there with the oversight. When somebody raises somebody like that, I don't know. I don't know how do you get
there is oversight.
There is with social services and all that stuff. But I mean, how do you? Yeah, if somebody saw that video, I guess with social services or whatever you call it in different states, if somebody saw the video, I would think they should look into it. Like,
why should they look into it? Why should they look into it? That woman, as abhorrent as that woman is, and what she taught her children is, that is her right. That's the family. That's the family's ideology.
There's no right to abuse.
To hate certain people, and I do think I understand what you're saying, that it's abusive, but you can then have the left coming along and saying that us teaching that our children that Charlie Kirk was a good man, he's a Christian man, he stood up for his values and he stood up for America and we love him. They could come along with all their BS and say that that child should be taken away from their parents too. You have to understand that Christianity, Judaism, they're coming after us. So if we want to raise our children to be good Christians, to be God-fearing, then they're going to say that that's hateful. That is the end goal. The end goal is hate God, hate God, hate God. That's what all the things that they hate about us and all the gaslighting is really all about. So I will not give the government one more inch of control over anybody's life. And it is just like the Second Amendment. There are risks that come with it. There are unfortunate circumstances that come with it. Same thing with driving cars. we have to take the risks. And I'm not giving the government more. And the risk is these children are now going to be brainwashed and unfortunately need to be, hopefully, by the grace of God, saved from
Well, they're
somebody
going to grow up and kill people.
parents.
Yeah, I agree with Elena though. I mean, look, that's exactly where it is. We can't go try to overreach and do more things like that. It's we have to. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was going to college campuses and he was de-radicalizing the youth. All right, and that's what we're going to have to continue to do. We're going to have to go out there and de-radicalize the youth, and that's the movement that we need to continue pushing.
Yeah, no, I was actually looking for that. That's why I said I don't co-parent with the government, and that's a big thing. But what I was looking at is like, how do you change that person's mind from raising, animals? You can't, I guess. There's no way around it. I mean, that person is that person. I guess they're.
She's probably the president of our HOA too.
For what?
She's probably the president of the HOA in her neighborhood too. Elena, you're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Sorry, the rumor, I don't know if you heard this, it's been going around all day, that she is she's the wife of some officer at Fort Carson, and she is a preschool teacher. Now, I know I tried to verify it on a legitimate news outlet, and I use legitimate loosely, but I could not find that. But it is really spreading like wildfire that's the case. And if she is the case of an active duty, if it's the case that she's the spouse of an active duty service member, I find that really, really, really additionally troubling.
He'll catch shit. If it's the truth, he'll have to stand up in front of the man and explain himself. He will catch shit for that.
He will.
Lots of shit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Preschool teacher too. What's she teaching the kids that are the same age as her kids? Preschool.
Right.
Teacher.
She's demented. She's obviously demented.
If that's true. So.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people don't realize if you're in the military, you're held to a standard, but so is your family. What they do reflects on you. So if your wife goes on and does that on YouTube or whatever, and your command finds out about it, they're going to call you up like, "Hey, we just saw some shit on YouTube with your wife. What the hell's going on in your house? What are you doing? What you need to explain this because now we all look bad.
Good.
Correct that shit." Oh yeah, everybody. If you're in the military, your family's in the military. It's that simple. It's not just your husband and your wife, and you can do what you want to do. No. Your family's in the military. You all have to adhere to standards and practices and ethics. You just don't get to go willy-nilly do what you want because you're whoever's in the military is going to have to answer for what you do, and that's how it should be.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's the end of this segment. Let's take another quick break and go on the last one. So stay tuned, everybody.
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country, America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the last segment here. We're going to be wrapping up this pretty soon. Remember to like and subscribe to America's Pulse Network, and always go and check us out at americaspulsenetwork.com. But we're on all social media outlets. We're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on True Social, we're on Parler, we're everywhere. So like and subscribe. Now, this segment I call Duality Part 2. And Duality, I named that because duality of you're never going to have to give up the fight between good and evil, and that's what it is. You might get a win here and a loss there, but that's the thing. We have to be persistent and keep going. And I'm going to play this first clip because Luigi Mangione his charges were downgraded to second-degree murder, and I don't know how. Well, I know how because it's New York. Where he was charged. He killed the CEO of the healthcare company, and like he planned it. It was premeditated. He waited there. He shot him quite a few times, and then shot him in the head on the way out. ran. It took like 5-6 days to catch him, and it was him for sure. So I don't know how it gets downgraded to second-degree murder, but because it was, let's play this clip of the New Yorkers.
A fucking pedophile, so I'm glad this is the result.
That's amazing. But that just shows them all together, right? They were like, they can't let that shit slide.
Yep.
Guys, this is on everybody, right? Because we didn't let that shit slide. So you know we didn't let that slide. That's right. Free! Luigi! Free! Luigi! Free! Luigi!
Now that New York, you're going to get what you deserve when you vote in Zoran Mamdani. Okay, and that's what we're going to vote in, and that's who you are, and you want to free a killer, and no wonder why he's going to be the next mayor. So I'll go to you, Pete. What are your thoughts on the cheering of Free Luigi and downgraded and all that stuff? So have them vote in Zoran Mondani and just have them fail. Just let it happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what it's looking like is going to happen. It's a damn shame. I mean, listen, the healthcare system has significant problems. All right, as a nurse, I'm telling you, it's no bueno. And the insurance, all of it. But I mean, to go out there and shoot the CEO like that was going to make a difference, that was going to change something, that does nothing but continue to push hate. And unfortunately, that's what they are now. I had somebody somebody close to me come up and say, "Oh, Luigi Mangione is a hero in this house." That's what people believe. I mean, look, happy people don't protest. Happy people don't behave this kind of way. Miserable people do. Nihilists do. They don't have anything to look forward to. That's what they do. They cheer on murder and they cheer on this criminal, and they think that getting him a reduced sentence is a good thing. But like you said, it's New York. I mean, it's all corrupt over there anyway.
Yeah. So Seth, I'll go to you with 2 minutes. I mean, what do you think if they elect Zoran Mondani? What do you think is going to happen to them? Because these people are deranged already. You think it's just going to completely collapse? New York City, the greatest city in the world.
Yeah, I think it'll be fundamentally different than what we know now. I mean, I've got family in New York. I was born in New York. My father was born in New York, but it ain't the same city it was when he was there. I mean, the city was better off when the mob was running it. It was more honest.
Yeah.
It was more straightforward. You knew exactly what you can and you can't do. And if you step out of line, you know what was going to happen. Now it's do what you want to do, go on the streets, celebrate murders. You get, what was that, the Joker? You get what you fucking deserve. That's all I can say about New York. You're going to get what you deserve, and you got no one to blame but yourselves. And I hope they just wall off that city and do the same thing with Baltimore and let it burn out. Just don't even think about it. Don't even talk about it anymore. They're both lost causes, and the good people need to get out while they can, or they're screwed. If there's any good people left.
There are a lot of good people left.
They need to get out.
Well, some of them are. Some of them can't afford to. It's so expensive there that people are stuck.
Come stay with me. I'll charge them half the rent.
So, Elena, were you born in New York too?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn. No, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, in a neighborhood called Canarsie.
Yonkers.
Yeah. So what? I mean, again, what do you think? I said this a while ago on one of our shows that we were talking about LA and California, and I said it's almost like having a family member addicted to drugs. That you try to help out, you can't enable them, but at one point you just have to cut them off, let them hit rock bottom, and pray that they rise back up. Do you think that's going to be the case with New York as well?
I don't. If we truly did just cut them off from federal funding and let them fend for themselves, maybe then things would change in 20 years. Because they'd want to spend 20 years going into full destruction. But I don't think we're going to cut them off. I think we're just going to keep them on life support, and the people and while things just deteriorate further and further. And that's how I see it. That's how I see it happening. Seth was right about the mob. Things were better when the mob there. Rudy Giuliani was the one that rooted them out. And I like Rudy, but that was a huge mistake because he left a void, and in came lefty lunatics. that void where the mob was running things and keeping that city and keeping neighborhoods moving and keeping them safe. And I think ultimately that's, for me, the thing that I think of when I think about Rudy Giuliani, unfortunately. And I know that's not popular on the right to have anything negative to say about him. As far as this normalization, I wanted to talk to you real quick about the charges. So the prosecutors had charged him with first-degree murder with terroristic intent, which meant that he had this like intent to terrorize and intimidate, the government or the city. And the judge said that they established a clear motive for the and clear evidence for first-degree murder, but they did not really well-established terroristic intent and prove that. So the judge dropped that charge, and that's why the second-degree murder charge stuck. So I think, and if I'm not mistaken, and I'm understanding this correctly, that it was prosecutorial overreach. And if they had just charged him with regular old plain first-degree murder without the terror attachment, that we would still be looking at a first-degree murder case.
Well, real quick, because we only got like 30 seconds. Or maybe 45. If he intended to create terror and scare people and then make a point, he wanted to make a point and scare people and kill this guy in cold blood. Do you think Osama bin Laden had the same plan when he flew the plane? He wanted to create terror. So
yeah, and I think he did, but I think it was a risk. I think it was a gamble for the prosecutors, and they lost.
Yeah.
Irregardless, he should have been charged with it.
Irregardless.
He's still going to jail, man. I mean, what are you going to do?
But he can still get out when he's like 50 or something.
Yeah, but now he can get out. He's a young man, and he can now he'll be eligible for parole. Now, somebody said in the comments they think the feds are going to have a case against him too, and I believe they already do. But to be honest, I'm not prepared to talk.
Did they just refile the charges?
No,
double jeopardy.
So, all right, guys, we got to wrap it up. All right.
So it wouldn't be double jeopardy because they would have different charges. That they wouldn't charge him with murder. That's a state crime.
So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. All the listeners out there, thanks for joining us. Make sure you go and like and subscribe to the America's Pulse Network. And we're going to sign off. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night.
The Conservative Corner Podcast. Hoist the standard. Stand fast and sail with Captain Seth Eisenberg every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yo, all hands, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die. Now some have died and some are alive, and others sail on the sea with the keys to the cage and the devil to pay. We lay to fiddler's grave. All together, hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall
Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.